So today we are going to see really good question. Okay, so let's understand. Question we have given is 1137. Okay, and it's a n Tribonacci number. Okay, so what is Tribonacci number is, see, we have given Tribonacci series here, t of n, and is defined as the follow, right? So it is saying t of 0 is t1 equal to 1 and t2 equal to 1 and so on, right? So if you'll consider t0, that is what, 0, t1, that is 1, and similarly t2 is 1. But when we come to tn plus 3, it will be tn plus 1 plus tn plus 2 and so on for all the n that is greater than equal to 0. Let's suppose I'm taking for this one, right? So if I'll take n is 2, n is 2. Okay, so what will happen here, we'll take what, 2 plus 3, that is nothing but 5, right? 5. So it will come here, what, we have to add 2, this 2 plus what we have 2, 1, 3, and then we will add 4. So if you have t3, t4 and t2, right, 2, 3 and 4, then you can get t5. Got it? So you have to find, you have already t2, but you have to find what, t3. So how will get that? To t2 and t1 you have to add, and then for t4 you have to add what, t3, t2 and t3, right? Like that you have to develop. So this is a Fibonacci series in which we have to add these values and then we have to find the next series. So what we have to do, we have to return value of t of n for n, right? Given n, and we have to return the value of tn. Okay, what is the value of tn? Let's suppose we have 4 given. So what is happening here? If we'll calculate t3 first, let's suppose, so 0, 1 and 1, it is 2. So if we'll find t4, what will happen? We know that we'll start from what? Not 0, we will start from 1 now. So this is t1, t2, t3, and if we'll add, then we will got t4, and that is return, we are returning. Okay, I think you have understood the code, right? Sorry, explanation. Let's go to see the we can say uh, approach, right? So one more thing I can tell you here. Let's suppose one more thing here. So Fibonacci number tn, you can say in the short, if you want to compute, right? So as you know, we have previous value we already have, right? Like we are adding let's suppose t3 we have, right? So t3 we have given what, let's suppose we have given 0, 1, 1, right? So if we calculate t3, we are adding 0, 1 and 1. This is t0, t1 and t2. If we calculate t0, t1 and t2, right? So let's suppose we have to find now t4, right? So there is two possibility, right? If you have already calculated t3, right? So we will do what, we have the previous value, right? These two we will have this t0 plus t1 value will have when we are calculating this t2. When we are calculating t3, we have this information, right? t3 we will have what information, t0, t1 and t2, right? Similarly, if you go to calculate t4, right, we can do directly what, rather than saying for t4, what we will do, t4 we can write like this, t1, t2 and t3, correct? We can do, but for this information we have to calculate this information, right? And for this information we have to calculate this information, right? Like that. So what we will do here, for t3, let's suppose t4, let's suppose we have already calculated t3 somewhere, right? So we will directly and we know that t1 plus t2 information already. Suppose when we are getting t1 and t2 information, right, while calculating this value t3, right, sorry, this part. So what we'll do, T3 we have to we have defined, we have already calculated, and then we will do what, T1 plus T2. So this part we have to calculate, but this part is already calculated. So in that place you don't have to write like this, but T0, T1 and T2, right, like this. This information we have to write, right? Let me explain again. I'm talking like we have T4, right? So for T4 what we have to do? We have to do T3, T2 and T0, T1, right? But for T3 you have to count again what? T0, T1 and T2, right? And for calculating T2, you again we have to do what? You have to go to find T0, T1 and the previous value that T have, let's suppose that one. So like that we have to calculate. This case is not applicable, but let's see, T3, for T3 you have to calculate again this one. You are calculating only these three, right? But you don't have. You have to calculate first and then you have to do, right? So what you will do, you will store this value somewhere, and that is called yeah, DP memorization function, right? So that will, we will develop uh, this functionality. Okay. Either there is one approach, right, uh, in which we will see, right? Let's go to the coding browser and we'll understand it. We are here at this Leetcode browser. Okay, workspace you can say. What we will do, we have given n, right, and we have to find. So what I was talking about, let's suppose we have to find T4, correct? And to get the T4 we should have what, T3 information plus T2 information and plus T1 information, right? And similarly uh, to get the information of what, T3, you should have what, T2 plus T, you can say T1 and plus, sorry, plus T0, right? Like that we should have. If we are taking this value, this should be calculated, right? So we are going to use DP, dynamic programming, and we'll solve this problem. Okay. So the basic thing what you can do is, we have given what, n we have given right here. So what we will do here, first of all we should check if, so yeah, why I'm saying that, if you want to go to count T3, there should be the value of T2, right? T2. And for T2, see, we have already two values we have, but third value we don't have, right? That we are checking. So in that case we have to make a condition and we have to say, if, because see, this is Tribonacci series and we should have at least what, three values, right? So we'll say n should be n should, if less than n is, if n is less than 3, let's suppose, then what we have to do, we don't do anything, we will return what, rather return, what we should do, we'll check n equal to, if this is 0, n equal to 0, then we will return what, 0, or not, then we will return 1, simply. Either if n is equal to 0, if n is less than 3, right, minimum 3 value we have for n, then what we will do, we'll check if n equal to 0, return 0 or return 1, correct? Now because see, if someone want to calculate this T2, right, what we have to do, if that is the first value, that we will return what, 0. If that is the first value, that we will return what, at least 1, and then we will add, and that's why we are giving the information here. Next time what we should do, we'll take some variables. Let's suppose I am taking a variable that is say temp value will take, and we can initialize with a 0, let's suppose. Similarly we'll take some other value. Let's suppose we have three value ever have, we have x, or you can say T1, we have T1 we have, right, and we can initialize with what, 0. Similarly we have T2, and that is nothing but what, we have we can take semicolon, comma, right? And that is we can take t2, and t2 is nothing but what 1 we have, and similarly we have what uh, we can take int t3 equal to 1. I am giving semicolon so that I will not get error. Let's suppose 3 variable we have taken int t1, t2, t3 we have taken. Now what should we do? We'll make a loop. Let's suppose we are making loop, and in this we'll take I equal to 0. I should be less than what? There is a we can take how many element we have there. What we have to find, n is what? Till that we will go, right? I should be less than equal to n, and then I plus plus. Let's see if this would work. But we are starting from what? 0, but we are expecting what? At least 3 elements should be there, right? So we can take from 3. I should be 3. So we'll start from 3, and then because this is Tribonacci series, so we have to start with 3. And for that, let's suppose we have taken temp, right? This temp we have t1 plus t2 plus what? t3. So that's why we have to add all these 3, and then we can we can replace this value, right? So t1 value, let's suppose if I'll take what for the next value, right? For the next value you can say each time we have to update its value, right? So what we'll do here, we'll take t1 and we'll say t1 will get replaced by t2 for the next value calculation, right? And t2 will get swept with what? t3, and we'll take another variable, that is we have t3, and in the t3 we will update temp that we have stored. You know the swapping, right? We have swapped all the values, and now we have updated t1, t2, t3, correct? And then once it is done, we will return what? t3. So this function will return each time the last value that we have calculated, right? So now t3 sorry, like this, right? Initially we have this one, and this one. So next time t3 will become the part of this one, right? As you can see here. I think you understood, right? So what we will do, but in this case what will happen, we have total time complexity is what? We are going to till n, right? So time complexity is what? O of n. But if you'll talk about the space complexity, right? So total constant space to keep the last 3 Fibonacci series, right, will be there, right? We are taking only 3 spaces, okay, last 3. So it of 3 you can say, of 1 you can say, okay. So let me, yeah, this will work. Let me submit this. Yeah, this will work. There is one more approach you can do if you want to do, right? The approach is what? We can say we can take one class, let's suppose, okay. Let me remove this one. Let it be, let remove these things, suppose, okay. Now we can do what? There is one approach we can take, that is recursion with memorization, okay. So for that, what we have to do, we will pre-compute some values, right? Tribonacci number you can say, and then we will apply those number, right? We will initiate a array of pre-computed Tribonacci series, right? Some number that is by 0 you can say, and then we'll initialize at least 3 variable you can say, or number, and then we'll return if there is some helper function, we'll pass n-1 and this will return. So the helper function should be a recursive function that will, let's say it's take some k value. So if we will apply k equal to 0, then we return what? 0 directly. And if k num of k not equal to 0, then we return num of k, right? So that we'll see in the second part of this video. So stay tuned with the second part of this video. Thank you so much, guys.